Hey. What's
Howdy.
happening?
Howdy.
It's a great intro.
Howdy. All right. How's everybody doing tonight? I see we got Mr. Largo in the house. We
What's up, Largo?
got my friend Matt Matson. He is the moderator on Monday Night Toy Ramblings as well as other shows. I see him all over the place. He's in a whole bunch of streams. Ted, what's up? Ted Darklaw from Hella Dope Toys is in the house. We got Adam here from G.I. Joe The Lost Chronicles. What's up, Adam?
My brother from another mother.
Cobweb Collectibles is here too. How we doing, Cobb? All right, so if any of you don't know, we have a special guest tonight with us. This is Jeff from Skunk Works G.I. Joe Customs.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming. So Jeff has, how long you been on YouTube now with your channel? About 5 years?
No, actually, I started the channel probably in the fall of 2019.
Wow.
So not quite, 4 years? Almost 3.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Jeff does primarily 1/6 scale G.I. Joe Adventure Team stuff, but he has a lot of cool video stories and a lot of cool customs. And one of my favorite things to watch is his little projects. What the hell you call them now?
What's in the shop or
the basic builds?
Basic builds.
Yeah,
My basic builds video series. Yeah.
I like the basic builds. Shows how to do some little customs and modifications and stuff like that. So that's good. All right, we got Wilhelm Toy and Hobby in the house.
There he is.
Yeah. How we doing, Will? So, Luke, did you get anything new this week?
No, I didn't. Definitely not.
You definitely did not. Nope, I just didn't give you a brand new figure this morning, did I?
No.
So show it off. Let's see it.
Let's see this thing.
I can't.
You can.
I cannot.
Why not?
Because it's a strictly cryptid episode today.
Okay.
Man, now look at him playing games with us.
Well,
So I did get some pickups, but I'll let Jeff go first. Jeff, you got something new?
Well, I'd say I got a couple things I'll share real quick.
All right,
First thing, I just finished. Speaking of basic builds, good buddy Cody Poplux 4583 sent me a while back some rifle modification parts, and he had made a custom Marlin 4570 tactical rifle, and I had been meaning to make my own for probably 4 or 5 months. I finally cut out a block of time to make it, and I'll debut it here tonight. Show you guys what it looks like.
Luke, can you pop him full screen?
Yes, sir. If I can, I think. There we go.
There we go.
Oh man, that's
awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like I used all his parts, and then I had my nephew print off a Marlin just rifle for me, and then I went ahead and modified it. But I just went off the pictures on the internet and created that.
Man, that is awesome, dude.
Yeah, it's going to be for a photo story. I'm working on a set of custom camouflage right now, and I got a photo story planned for next year. I'm going to use this on. So
that is.
And
sweet.
then one more thing I wanted to kind of announce here tonight. So I know, Ed, you've seen this. Probably about 2003, 20 years ago, I was at the Wizard Con in Chicago. I used to take various G.I. Joe box art stuff and go to the artist row and say, hey, do an interpretation of this for me. And they do like a $5 sketch. And one of my favorite sketches they did was this Land Adventure set here, a sketch. One of my favorite little sketches. I think I've sent you pictures of this.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So a good friend of mine actually does comic book coloring. And since I own this print, since I had it, I guess you call it I don't know what you call it. I had it made for me. He's going to color this, and I'm going to print off about 12 copies, and I'm going to give them away on my YouTube channel at various stages this year.
Decent, dude. That's awesome.
I think it's a really cool. I think it's a really cool picture. I titled it "The Backyard Hero." I may or may not put the Axis of Awesome logo on here. We'll see. But I really like this print, and I've got several more. And if everybody likes this one, I might do like one a year and give away a few from my channel, like just a contest.
We went to the local Comic-Con, Nickel City Con,
right
last Sunday, Luke, or 2 Sundays ago? Last Sunday. And then that was like one of the things I was listening. The previous years when we went there before COVID, you know, they always had like this artist alley where you could walk down and get somebody to sketch something for you, you know, $30. I mean, back then it was probably 15 to 25, $30, depending on what it was, right? I mean,
yeah.
The 2003 prices are long gone, but still, I mean,
yeah,
$15. Well, you saw that picture I had that one guy do for me. That was me as the GI Joe with the elbow joints and all that stuff, right?
Yes.
I mean, that was done at the Comic-Con, you know, it was just awesome, but that was missing this year. It was like totally depressing. It's like,
yeah, things are a little expensive now.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm going to probably just take those and have them put it on photo quality paper when it's colored, and just throw them out there. I had 1,500 subscribers today, but somebody must have saw me post that and unfollowed me. So
Always,
now
dude.
I'm stuck at 1499. I put the horse before the cart before the horse. So
that's just like my my Instagram. I was at 1445 yesterday morning. This morning I was at 1442, and now I'm up to 1448. I'm like, what sense does that make? How are you gaining and losing followers?
No, it's like pounds.
Yeah. All right, so I'll show my pickups now. I got General Thane from the Animal Warriors of the Kingdom.
Wow.
You want to put me full screen, Goof?
How big's that? Is that 7 inches tall, probably,
He's
or 8?
a little
probably
over 7, like 7.5. He's a big boy, though, man. He's got a lot of weight to him.
It looks like it.
Comes with a head that's got a helmet that's that color on there. It's pretty sweet. They're having a PowerCon exclusive of him as an orangutan with a different face. It's pretty cool. I got him. And then I picked up one of the Animal Warriors of the Kingdom weapon sets. This is the iron set.
Cool, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So they're coming out with weapon sets. They're coming out with armor sets next. So, and then I got this in the mail today. This, Jeff, you'd be interested in. This is those combatants fight for glory figures.
Wow. I've seen those on Instagram. That is rad.
They had this guy at 5K Toys for $29. They're usually like 60. So
wow, those are cool.
Yeah,
those are really detailed.
Yeah, they're very detailed. I mean, the posing's a little limited, but it's kind of the same thing as like a Mythic Legions type of
I love Mythic Legions.
So I mean, you got they're more for display and stuff like that. So.
We're not playing with them.
No. These pictures with them, but that's about it.
Yeah, so. Just for trying to win photo contests or trying to just put stuff on Instagram.
Yeah. I've been taking a ton of pictures down at the Crick the last few days. So
I've seen a lot of stuff you've posted.
Yeah.
Lately, you and the other fella that you do your Instagram stuff.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of really cool photos.
Yeah, Rob's been doing some stuff. He was on a trip up to Vermont, so he was kind of like in the top part of where the Adirondacks goes down and touches, so pretty rural spot. So he lives in New York City usually, so he's like, I want to take an outdoor shot. He's got to go to his backyard,
Oh,
I mean, very limited, He's got
plants.
his patio blocks there and stuff like that, So he was like up there.
I've been trying hard. I know Adam out there in Arizona is working. We're trying to finish that Super Joe photo story that we have going, and I haven't really worked on it a lot lately, but I think.
Well, here's Adam's problem right here: 116 degrees in Apache Junction.
Yeah, that's definitely a problem. I'm getting ready to. I got a box I'm sending him. I got the mailing label all ready to go. I just got to drop it off at the post, but I think he's gonna get really pumping on his, and then I've got mine really ready to start going too. So. I think it's gonna be great. I think you guys are gonna really, really like it.
Yeah, Ted, this is gonna be a new night, not just a one-time thing. But yeah, I can't wait. I loved your Cruel. That was a great photo story. So
yeah, I did that over the last 6 months, just in my spare time.
Yeah,
the figure turned out great.
It did. The figure turned out awesome, and the head sculpt came out really nice.
Yeah,
I'm really looking forward to Adam's. Scooby-Doo short, man.
Have you seen?
He did that intro. I was like, "Damn, that was awesome."
Yeah, I saw that intro, and I'm like, "Shit, man!" It's like Hanna-Barbera had hired him to do like a commercial for toys.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of that. Remember that stop motion Johnny Quest intro that person did?
Yes.
Years ago on YouTube, right? It's
yeah.
But It kind of
Yeah.
reminded me of that, but his is more like still frame. But still, it was like all the main things, like Fred falling backwards and Scooby's eyes and all that. Like Adam captured it perfectly.
Yeah, all the mystery machine he made and his
Yeah.
mansion, his haunted mansion, like all of it's like it's gonna be really cool.
So anybody that likes action figures and likes the old Hanna-Barbera stuff, go check out G.I. Joe: The Lost Chronicles. Adam's got some cool stuff. He made the Scooby-Doo gang, a complete gang, plus a mystery machine and haunted mansion now, and some of their
Some of the villains.
some of the quote-unquote villains.
The deep sea diver looks
Yeah, the deep sea diver is
awesome.
And then he did some Johnny Quest, and I think he was working on a couple other ones. So
Yeah, Adam's super talented.
yeah,
I know how his photo story for Super Joe's going to go, and I think it's going to melt people's minds. It's going to be so cool. I'm going to have a hard time following it up, so I got to get my A game going.
better dig
Hopefully.
deep, brother. All right, so we came here tonight to discuss cryptids. So
Yes, sir.
let's jump into that. Let me bring up the presentation. Luke, if I do something wrong, fix the computer, okay?
Yes, sir.
I think we're okay for now.
For now.
So cryptids from the Crick. So just a little background. I've been a huge cryptid fan mostly my entire life. Most of it started when I was probably like 4 or 5, and my father took me and my older brother to see some horrific Bigfoot movie where they, I think it was like Sasquatch or the Legend of Boggy Creek or something. It scared the shit out of me for years. And we had this Planet of the Apes penny bank that was like a 20-inch tall penny bank, and it stood in the closet. And I'd have the closet light on as my night light, and the shadow cast this like Bigfoot shadow on the floor, and it was horrifying. But turned me into like this, freak for cryptid zoology. So, how about you, Jeff?
Oh man. Well, mine goes back. I mean, probably just like you. I remember all the Leonard Nimoy, that TV series in the 1970s. I can't remember what the heck it was called, but he was the host. And they would talk about Bigfoot. And that's when I first saw the Patterson Gimlin footage, was that. And then, I would read books, and then, go to the library when I was a kid and check out different books on monsters. And it's just like one of those things. And then you'd have the movies that would come out, Boggy Creek on VHS. Yeah. And, you had $6 Million Man. But Bigfoot was like Bigfoot was like super popular in the 70s.
Yeah, he was all over the place in the 70s. Yeah.
And then it kind of died off in the 80s a little bit, and then X-Files kind of brought it back.
Yep.
A few episodes of the X-Files.
Then it died off again, and then it came back with Finding Bigfoot and all these other shows that are just, out there.
History Channel.
Cryptids. Yeah.
And then now with the advent of social media, TikTok, and, trail cams.
Yeah.
Now it's just like inundated with Dogman and Sasquatch videos. Yeah. So
yeah,
can't get away from it.
And how about you, Junior?
It started from Spiderwick when I was like 5 years old. I watched that, and then you used to watch Ancient Aliens every night, and I would just watch that while you watched that, and then Finding Bigfoot, and it probably just spiraled from there. And
Destination Truth, that was one of our favorites.
Yeah, all of it.
Yeah. There's a ton of podcasts dedicated to it now. Like I listen to the Tinfoil Hat podcast on occasion if they have an interesting guest on there. And there was one a few days ago. I can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head. I'll look it up here in a second. But he was talking about Dogman. So really interesting.
In Search Of, Adam and Jim both piped in with that. That was the show from
the 70s.
Yeah.
Okay. I barely remember it because I was a kid then. I'm like a little kid, but they had it. It ran in syndication.
Yeah.
As
a kid in the 70s, we weren't allowed to be in the living room anyway. Most of the time, we had to hide behind the couch and overhear what my dad was watching.
Never were allowed to do anything, and I got like 4 channels.
Yep.
Back then, so I have to look that guy up here in a second while you guys are talking, and I'll tell you who that
All right.
cat was.
So let's see. We're going to jump into this. And up first is, I cut this off for some reason.
You also put skunk were and then the K and the S were on the
Hey, man, I was doing like
slide.
7 different things today. All right. We're talking about the Mothman.
Okay.
So,
Tony Merkel.
Tony
Check him
Merkel,
out
yeah.
sometime. Tony Merkel. He's a great follow. Like he goes on some wild trips.
Yeah.
There
So
we
the
go.
Mothman originated in West Virginia folklore. It's a humanoid creature reportedly seen in the Point Pleasant area from like 66 to 67. The first newspaper report was published in the Point Pleasant Register on November 16th, 1966. They say they've also seen it as a man-sized bird creature. So I don't know. A lot of people probably seen that movie that was out with, was Richard Gere was in that, I think?
Mothman Chronicles.
Yeah.
Yep.
Richard Gere was in that. It was a pretty good movie. The Mothman legend is kind of weird because it all has to do around that bridge that collapsed and all this other weird stuff that went on. It was like an omen of bad luck. And, you really got to wonder if some witch or some native tribe brought this, curse onto this area for some reason.
There's a really good episode of the Y-Files on the Mothman. And there's some wild stories that he really wasn't able to debunk.
Yeah.
And I think there's definitely something going on there, whether it's like a space-time portal or some type of weird, like you said, occult deal, but
yeah,
something weird is definitely there.
It's funny. There's always like Luke and I watch the Skinwalker Ranch series that's been on, right? And there's just these little spots all over the world that are just like seem to have these weird things that happen. And, it's got to be either some kind of dimensional portal or some kind of curse that was put on that land, at some point in time. It's just weird stuff, man.
Yeah, Adam and I were texting about that the other day. Vile vortices, like
Yep.
Bermuda Triangle could be one, and then we were talking about one out there in Arizona in the desert, Sedona, I think.
Yep.
And
yeah, there's that one up in Michigan too, the Michigan Triangle over whatever one of the lakes it is. I can't remember.
If you ever looked at those ley line maps, right?
Oh yeah.
You ever look at a ley line map, and I believe totally in the ley line maps.
Yep.
There's a lot of weird shit going on, man.
Hey, man, there's so many of the ancient temples and stuff that are along those ley lines.
I know.
There's something to it that we don't know about.
Oh, lost histories. I think it's all like one convoluted thing that ties together,
For sure.
And I don't even know if you can explain it.
Andy and Indy, thank you for joining us.
Hey, here he is.
I think he's one of your subscribers, yeah?
He is, yeah. He's also on Instagram.
Yep.
Really cool customizer.
Yeah, I think I started following him because he subscribed to me. So
yeah. What's up, Andy?
We lost Luke. I don't know if he disconnected or had to go use the restroom. So
hey, if I gotta pee, I'm just gonna walk up and leave a blank camera.
Yeah, that's what I do. I'll be getting out to grab a beer here soon. So this is just a little cartoon image I found on the internet of the Mothman. I thought was kind of cool. Be a cool little cartoon to do with this kind of character.
Yeah, it almost looks like Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah,
style.
yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. All right. And now we're on to the Chupacabra.
Easy, Adam, out there in Arizona. Adam's probably getting pumped up right now.
Yeah, the Chupacabra. He was already talking about it. He said Mothman, Skinwalkers, and Chupacabras.
He does some great photo stories on all of them.
Oh, yeah. I love his Chupacabra custom. That was just amazing.
Yeah, it was good.
All right. So the Chupacabra or Chupacabras is a legendary creature in the folklore parts of the Americas and Mexico. The name comes from the animal's reported vampirism. The Chupacabra is said to attack and drink the blood of livestock, including goats. And the physical description of the creature vary from reptilian to canine. A lot of people describe him in both ways, so it's hard to say which way he is. But here's two different versions of him. Kind of a dog-looking creature and kind of lizard-looking creature. It was kind of weird, wasn't it? Like 3 years ago when they had that big outbreak of like people seeing the chupacabra all over the place.
Yeah, they did. They had like a bunch of videos, viral videos on TikTok.
That's like another thing, right? Those kind of like sightings. It's just like Bigfoot. You have these times where there's just 100, 100 reports, and then other times it's just like nothing, right? It's so weird.
And what's weird? What you could, I don't have enough time, but I kind of wonder how much of those sightings line up with like astrology, planet alignments, magnetic, the magnetic poles, and all that weird. Like it seems like whenever there's some type of weird astrological event, these things tend to like increase in volume. I don't know if I'm right or wrong on that, but it feels like that to me.
I bet you there is some correlation to it for sure.
Right.
Because I know like there is some of the guys that do like Sasquatch investigations also cross over to alien investigations because there's so many alien sightings at the same time that there's Bigfoot sightings. So
right,
whether Bigfoot's an alien that gets dropped off or it just happens to be that they're like you said, some kind of astrological thing that's going on. It's just
that one there with the red eyes looks a lot like that old shadow box chupacabra.
Yeah,
those things are expensive now too. By the way, I wish I would have bought those back in the day at Toys R Us, but I didn't.
I know. I was just talking to Matt that was here earlier this morning about the creature replicas. You remember those?
Yeah,
the Sasquatch, and I think their main one was called Scout or something. He was like a Sasquatch, but they called him. They gave him a name. They had Bigfoot, Yeti, the Wolfman or Dogman, whatever.
Yep.
And then the Rougarou, and then one other one. I can't remember what it was.
My brother's got the Bigfoot.
I had the Bigfoot, but I don't know where it is. That was packed up when I moved out.
Those are cool figures.
Yeah. They're still selling them direct. I don't know, man, if they're really still in business or not, but you can go to their site and it says in stock. I'm like,
yeah, you can still find. I think you can find them on eBay too.
You can find them on eBay, but they're expensive on eBay too. So
he bought his off the website, I think, back in 2019, probably.
Yeah, they started in 2016. I think I got my Bigfoot maybe in 2018.
Yeah,
but I was hoping like to do some pictures with it, but I decided to build my own Bigfoot out of
it's better that way.
1/6 scale. It was easier.
Better.
All right. Now we're going into the Jersey Devil.
This is a weird one for me.
Yeah, this is totally a weird one. So the Jersey Devil is in South Jersey, Philadelphia folklore. It's also known as the Leeds Devil. It's a legendary creature said to inhabit the forests of the Pine Barrens. So according to the popular folklore, Jane Leeds, also known as Mother Leeds, she was the one that was having the 13th child, and she cursed it and said that the 13th child was going to be the devil. So when the child was born, it basically was born with goat feet and a tail and flew out the chimney and then became the Jersey Devil.
Whoa.
So real quick, Matt says he bought his in 2020 timeframe from their website.
Yeah,
so
that seems about right.
Yeah. So the Jersey Devil is really wild, man. Like the whole story, like there's this like supposedly real picture of it, right? Which is like a goat with, fairy wings from Halloween and some, Billy Goat with some fairy wings.
I think I have that album cover.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like, a goat.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one wasn't even, they didn't even like give it a long tail or anything. This is like, let me take this goat that I had taxidermied and put some fairy wings on it from Halloween costume.
Shoot it up in the air with a slingshot.
Yeah. Well, launch it in the air. Just gets a bunch of pictures. The guy probably sitting there with a camera that had like the action shot on it. We're just like click, 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 as it was getting launched through the air.
Yeah,
Feet aren't even moving.
Adam says somebody was smoking some good dope when they came up with that. I would have to agree.
Yeah, for sure.
Or on mushrooms. There he is.
Hey, you all right there, buddy?
Yeah, I had to go do some yard work for my mother.
Oh, isn't it a little late to be doing yard work?
It's a little late, yeah. But that's fine.
Late. Duty calls, man.
Exactly. It's never too late to help someone.
It's never too late to help someone, but it's definitely too late to be doing yard work. It's pretty much dark out. But
we're looking at this Jersey Devil right here.
Yeah. do you think about this Jersey Devil?
It looks like an animal cracker.
Yeah, it looks terrible.
Yeah, it definitely looks like an animal cracker. I like this picture. They gave it a real big horse head with some big old teeth
Deer
on
antlers.
it. Yeah, deer antlers. I thought that was pretty good. I like if that happened. When did they say this took place? When did Jane Leeds have this baby? Back in 1600s or something.
Your
Was it the
PowerPoint skills are
1600s?
on point today, dude.
No, man, I messed up. I don't know what I was doing.
It was like the 1600s. It was some
Yeah.
prince that was supposed to.
So I mean, like, how is this thing still around today, right? I mean, unless it actually is a
Magic.
cursed being, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, no way. I shouldn't say no way, but I highly unlikely to me. But
yeah. Man, my whole thing got messed up. I think it must have messed up when I downloaded it, and I didn't go back and check. I just uploaded it. So now we're talking about Nessie, who is in Loch Ness, of course, and then Bessie, who is the same type of creature from Lake Erie. Champ is from the Great Lake Champlain, and then Caddy's the one that's up in the bays off of Alaska. So, man, look at how bad this
It's a
went,
very
dude.
coherent PowerPoint.
Yeah, I know, dude. It must, and when I downloaded it, it must have messed up because it was fine on Canva when I made it. So, anyway, they've been seen for a couple hundred years. Reports at both Great Lakes, Erie and Champlain, of those two, and Caddy's been seen off the coast of Alaska for many years by natives, and now more people. And of course, we all know about the story of Loch Ness. So.
I'm pretty sure the one in Lake Champlain has been around for like thousands of years, and like the natives have been talking about that forever.
Yeah, for sure.
you know what I find interesting about all those creatures there? They all seem to reside in cold climates.
Yeah,
Cold
for sure.
climates. You know what I'm saying? Like, which leads me to believe, well, I don't even know if I would consider them to be dinosaurs. They're probably something else.
Well, they could be something left over, right? I mean, not quite a dinosaur,
Yeah.
maybe something from like the
Alligators.
Yeah, kind of like a reptile thing that survived, right? I mean,
And let's be honest, everything we know about dinosaurs, it's all theoretical, right? Because we have
Correct.
no physical
Yeah.
specimen to study.
Yep.
Like,
and it's always changing, right?
we don't
I mean,
know for a fact.
for many years they were reptiles. Now they're
Right.
birds, and they might have had feathers, and
Right. I mean, it's completely plausible that something like this lives in a cold cutoff area and it's completely sustains itself.
It's also
Yeah.
probably like they're all from. It kind of seems like they might all be from places that glaciers used to be. So
Yeah.
maybe something got frozen in a glacier.
That's a
and-
great point. That's a really
Mhm.
good point.
right.
Yeah, glacial lakes and stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you think about it, all the Great Lakes are connected. So Champ and Bessie could be the same family or the same creature. You never know, right?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And the other thing about these creatures is no one's ever really seen one, so we really have no idea how big they are. I mean, just because they have a big head, when you're looking at something over a great bank of water, things your view is different, right? I mean, you're
Right.
out on a boat, and even in a normal size, like vacationing lake, it's like your view of that on the horizon is not the same as it really is. It's like it's just a weird thing, but.
Yeah, and the skeletons that they've found that they think could be these. I mean, again, you're just theoretically recreating those. You're using a lot of artistic interpretation.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I read a thing, a documentary or something from like an actual scientist and an architect, and he was saying how like even the dinosaurs that are put together in museums, they don't even know if the bone structures are correct. They're just guessing by what they have and what they know, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the skull of like a cat without any fur or skin on it? It
Yeah,
looks
it's wild looking.
Yeah, it looks nothing like a cat.
No,
Yeah.
I got a cool snapping turtle skull. Looks like a dinosaur.
hmm
You just don't know.
yeah.
I mean, it's all theoretical.
Plus, it's not like in the Great Lakes or off the coast of Alaska, right? In the bays, that people are going down there with subs, right? It's not like the ocean where you have a lot of submarine traffic, right? And
Right.
what do we know? Like 10% of the ocean's been explored or whatever it is.
Yeah,
right?
I think it's something around 10%.
So I mean,
We
the
have no
bottom
clue.
of these Great Lakes and, the bays off of Alaska where it's freezing cold water. No one's going down there,
Nobody's. Well, first of all, it costs a shitload of money.
Right.
And how many people have the money to go invest in something that there's probably a 95%, probably higher percent chance that it's not going to yield anything of useful value? So, Elon Musk is crashing rockets instead of looking for Loch Ness. So maybe he ought to switch it up.
After the Titanic fiasco, no one's probably going down there for a while. So
maybe that's what they want.
that was just another distraction in the media to get us away from what was going on with the president.
No shit. What's going on with the whole world?
Yeah. The
Dogum and what is Dogum and?
You know what? When you start doing the PowerPoints, you can start running your mouth there, young man. The Dogman and the Rougarou. So the Michigan Dogman was allegedly witnessed in 1887 for the first time in Michigan. The creature is described as a 7-foot tall, blue-eyed, amber-eyed, bipedal canine-like animal with a torso of a man. So basically a werewolf. And it has a fearsome howl. Oh, we got
Pete's here.
Skull Reviews. Pete's here. And I don't know if Ted's still here or not, but Night Ted, he's got to go do a show. Be on somebody else's show. So the Dogman.
That's just a werewolf.
Rougarou. It's basically a werewolf type creature. I think the only difference between the Dogman is supposedly the Dogman is actually just a creature. He doesn't transform from a man, whereas a werewolf and a Rougarou are possibly the same.
There is a couple videos circulating around the internet right now of a Dogman, and they're wild. My brother sends me this stuff all the time, because I'm always like, I don't know about that, but I wish I had it on there. I think it's on maybe a TikTok video. I don't have TikTok, so I don't know. I've seen it on Facebook, I think, but it's like a transformation.
Yeah,
it's pretty wild. I don't know what to think of it. And here's the problem now with all this stuff. To me, with AI and all the shit people are doing now. Like, you've seen some of those pictures on Instagram circulating around, like the old style pictures that has like a freaking Baphomet.
Oh yeah.
In the family. Like, it's so good now and it's so believable. You're gonna have grifters.
Yeah. Luke and I just had this conversation the other day about how, like, you can't trust anything you see now, right? Because
that's kind of what they want, I think.
Right. Because it's like everything is so easily. I mean, we can sit down at our computer right now and fake a picture out, right? It's like even like with the action figure photography, right? Like, some guys do some amazing photography. Don't get me wrong, I'm not taking anything against their talent, but like most of it is just like special effects added into the picture. They take a picture of Superman on a wire and he's flying, but then they add in all the explosions and stuff like that.
Right.
That's great, but you're just creating a picture. You're not really taking a photograph. You know what I mean?
That's going to be the hardest part moving forward. Is that every time I look at something now, I'm like, that's bullshit. He probably created that on his computer, because it's all about getting clicks and views.
Yep.
On your TikTok, and it's like those people, and what they do is the people that actually do photograph something, it takes away from them.
Right. Luke and I watch a lot of like paranormal like shows, right? And they do like where they review like TikTok videos and stuff. And it's like so many of those you can see, you're like, okay, that just can't be real, right? And then some of them you're like, holy shit, right? Because it's just too impossible to even fake, right?
Yeah.
But then you still got that doubt in your mind, because the last one you just watched was, you could definitely tell the guy was just trying to get it for clicks,
I thought it was real, and then the guy comes forward like a month later, is like, oh, I was just bullshitting because I got too many people.
You hear every time the guy introduces the one video, is like, if you go to this guy's YouTube or TikTok channel, he never had any paranormal stuff. Then all of a sudden he went to, played with the Ouija board, and now all of a sudden he's updating all this stuff. No, his 3 followers wasn't enough for him, so he started downloading paranormal shit and playing with it and
My
pretending
bullshit
it was real.
detector goes off.
Yeah.
Like, doop, doop, doop,
Yeah,
doop,
exactly. So the Rougarou. The Rougarou has a bunch of different spellings because it's kind of a French word because it's from Louisiana.
I've never heard of this one.
Well, the Rougarou is basically a werewolf, but it's called that because of the French word for wolf is loup, and the other part is garou, which is like Frankish, right? Which it basically means werewolf in a different language is what it comes down to. So, but he is supposedly like a werewolf, transforms from a man into an animal type of thing, but they call him the Rougarou, so he's basically just another werewolf type creature.
Yep, it's a werewolf.
Yep. But I don't think the Rougarou has the... Look at this one too, man. This whole PowerPoint got messed up when I uploaded it.
That's okay.
That's all good. I'll just leave it to Luke next week. So now we're going into the favorite one, right? The most popular, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, skunk ape, the wild man.
Yep.
Bigfoot, also commonly referred to as Sasquatch, is a large, hairy, human-like mythical creature purported to inhabit forests in North America. Now, I got this part off of Wikipedia, and I don't like to use mythical, but, you know, it is what it is. And particularly in the Northwest. So this goes to show you how well Wikipedia is, because in today's world, the Northwest is nothing compared to... I mean, it still gets a lot of sightings, but there's plenty of sightings all over the entire North
US.
America.
Yep.
So, and then the Yeti is the same type of creature, but stays mostly in the Himalayan mountain range in Asia. In Western culture, he's also known as the abominable snowman. So let's see. Hold on a second. What's it Matt say? Matt says, Louisiana Rougarou is an awesome story. I love the word garou, which is the term that White Wolf used for their RPG werewolf.
Oh, cool.
Cool.
Wow.
Thanos, welcome. And Adam here is talking about skinwalkers again.
Skinwalkers, yep.
Yep.
There's I think a scientist, and his name escapes me right now. I think in the early 1920s, I think he might have been a paleontologist, but he was heavy into the Bigfoot lore. And good gumbo. He postulated that there was basically subspecies of this particular creature on every continent. Different versions. I mean, the same creature, but like what we see with a lot of
humans.
What we see with a lot of megafauna. Like you had mastodon and woolly mammoth, but that's what he postulated in the early 1900s. So,
well, it's really hard to discredit the Bigfoot lore and the Yeti lore, because there's been like actual scientists and stuff. Teddy Roosevelt mentioned the Bigfoot in his diary, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, why would they jeopardize their, credibility just to... Because back then there wasn't clicks, it's not like they were going to get anything for doing it, right?
Right.
It's like, man, it's just so hard to discredit their, the fact that they put their reputations on the line for it is amazing.
The silverback gorilla was a myth.
Right.
Until it wasn't, right? The Bondo ape. The Bondo ape was a myth until it wasn't. So it's just one of those things, I mean, the world's a lot bigger than I think what we really understand as people. Like I think I said that when you and I were talking, Ed, on our live stream. Just go out in your local woods.
Right.
And just go out and walk around for a couple hours, and you don't understand how big, like, say, 13 acres really is when it's just you.
Yep.
And you're like, shit.
That's what I tell everybody, man. You spend enough time out in the woods, you're going to see stuff that you didn't realize was even there, right?
Yep. You're going to see stuff you can't explain.
Yep.
70% of the human population lives in cities, all in the same cities, and like 2 billion of the 7 or 8 billion people on the planet live in 2 countries. So to think that we really have the whole world scoped out by
we've explored everything. Yeah. Absolutely bananas.
Yeah. Doesn't make much sense.
Yeah. And if you're out in the woods and there's on a cattle farm just turn over a couple cow patties, eat a couple mushrooms, and you're going to see a lot of shit.
That's right.
You can't explain.
Well, that's how human beings came about, right?
That's right.
Chimpanzees ate the magic mushrooms.
Stoned ape theory. That's a great one.
That's one of mine and Luke's favorites.
I like Adam's interdimensional theory. I like that too. Bigfoot.
That's I have my curiosity about that as well. That's why I was like saying about the whole UFO thing, right? Like
portals,
right? The UFO sightings and the Bigfoot sightings. There's so many of them that are correlated. It's not even it's completely too coincidental to just brush off, right?
I listened to a really good podcast on vibrational energy and sound waves and all those things, and how trying to tie all that together, how it all works, because like you start getting into like quantum physics, they're trying to tie Einstein's general theory of relativity on a microscopic level with quantum physics, and they just can't. And I don't think they understand how it really works. But
no. But have you ever watched?
I have no idea how.
No,
it's all theoretical.
The Skinwalker Ranch stuff with that Travis, that scientist.
I haven't ever watched the Skinwalker Ranch. I've listened to the podcasts on it.
So, like some of the video they have, like some of the stuff they've captured on video, right? You just can't even explain it, and there's nothing. It's not faked because you can tell by some of those guys that are on the show are just too redneck to even be messing with a camera or anything like that. And the way they react is just like it's not overdone. It's like genuine, right? It's like they're either the best actors in the world, or else it's actually something that they can just not explain.
Am I right? Are you allowed to go on there anymore?
No, that it's owned by a private guy. You got to get permission to go on there.
Yeah. That's and there's a lot of weird stuff surrounding.
Adam's watching Skinwalker Ranch right now.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of the season 4 yet. Don't give me spoilers.
Yeah, you'll have to check out that Tony Merkel guy, because
I definitely will.
He goes to Skinwalker quite a bit and sets up outside of it. And he had this, not to get off topic, but he had this wild story on this latest podcast I listened to about fucking vampires in Los Angeles. And I was like, this is a wild story, but I
Is that the underground vampire cult that's in Los Angeles?
Yes.
The one that lives under the city, in the catacombs under the city and all that?
The what?
Yes. And he had a story.
Vampire cult.
He had a story. We got time.
Yeah, we got time.
I'll paraphrase it. He had a story that he's getting ready to tell on his podcast, but he was kind of cliff noting it. He had a buddy of his who basically hooked up with some friends in LA he met when he got out there, and they kind of treated him like a mark, right? Like, hey, they started hanging out, going out to clubs together, and every so often, and like this guy earned his trust, and then he would kind of take him a little farther every time, and then he ended up at this underground party, and he says it was fucking weird, and they gave him, they basically dosed his drink, and what he ended up seeing was pretty wild. Now, the skeptic in me is like, he saw the opening to Blade Vampire Hunter in the club, right? Because it sounded a little bit like that. But then it went off topic, and there was a lot of other weird stuff, and it is a wild story.
Well, that story was basically, from what I read one time, was kind of like the inspiration for the Lost Boys. That's great. Yeah, for sure. I was thinking about that too earlier. Yeah, Lost Boys. I don't know, supposedly, in all these big cities where there's like Los Angeles, Miami, where there's like all these big party cities, right? There's this underground cult of, they're either vampires or witches or whatever it is. There's some kind of underground cult in these big cities that are considered party cities, right? Las Vegas, Los Angeles.
That one Halloween store.
Where your drug scene is, your really big drug scene.
Yeah, the party cities, right? Miami's a big party city, drugs and all that stuff, right? And
Yeah.
supposedly there's this underground cult that's just this, and it's all around the world, right?
I
Who
mean, think
knows?
about it. The Mayans practiced, you know, some people theorize that the Mayans practiced vampirism. You know, they had a
Yeah.
wild, weird thing, but it's not beyond the realm of possibility to think that there could be a bunch of people doing shit like that. I mean, look at the just people who join normal cults, right?
Right?
You start when you start looking at how many missing people there are just in the United States on any given day, something like, I think I looked it up a year or two ago, something like
I'll
800,000
Google
or
it right now.
something. Might
Yep.
be more than that. Yeah, look that up. How many missing people there are in the United States? And you start thinking, where the hell are all these people? Some are homeless, probably
Yeah.
in New York and California, but there's got to be a percentage that are somewhere else.
Well, that's
Right?
just like Luke, also look up the amount of people that go missing in like national parks, right? I mean,
Oh,
it's,
yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah, and they're never found.
There's a map.
yeah. And their
Right?
bodies are never found, right? That's the
Never
weird thing, right?
found.
They're hiking and all of a sudden
Right.
they're just gone, right?
Right.
Is it a
Well, think about this. You remember
So
that
altogether,
girl?
there's probably
YouTube hiker?
altogether there's probably like 50,000 unsolved cases of missing people in the U.S. right now.
There's this
50,000?
YouTube hiker, right? He was a professional hiker, YouTubed all of his hikes, right? He went out to one of the places in California. I can't remember his name now, and I can't remember exactly where he was, but he did this YouTube video, found this cave.
Oh, but
And
there's
he's-
one that says 200,000. So I think the statistics a little bit.
Yeah, you gotta be more
Fine.
specific. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was he said he found this M-shaped cave, right? Went in there, and when he's in the cave, he said it was weird. He felt this really like weird vibration sensation through his whole body, right? So he came back home. Then he said, I'm going to hike out to that cave again, right? And then he disappeared. They've never found a single trace of him. He has video of him walking up to where the cave is, and then the video stops, and that's it.
Okay.
'Cause he would do it
I got a
live,
good
right?
one. This one says that up to 600,000 people go missing every year in the U.S.
That's what I was thinking. That's kind of what I was referencing.
That's from the National Missing and Unidentified Persons
Right.
System.
Yeah.
And then in the national parks, at least 29 cold cases of people going missing in parks every year for each park, like per park.
right.
Yeah. So you think about 600,000, right? You got a percentage that's probably like human trafficking, right? Kidnapping, things like that, right? Murder, all that bad stuff, right?
Right.
There's a percentage that, like you said, are just homeless. You know, they go live on the streets or under a bridge in California, Oregon, New York City.
Mental health issues.
Right, mental health issues. Then I'm sure there's some that just go missing, you know, because they decide to kill
On
themselves,
purpose.
and they do it right where no one's going to find them, right?
Correct.
And then there's still that percentage left, right? I mean,
Yeah.
there's
And there's no way to know what happened to him.
right.
I mean, remember that girl, her boyfriend murdered her out in Colorado, then dumped her
Yep.
in the Everglades? They found her body, right? They
Yeah.
went on a manhunt, found her body, basically.
Right.
Think about all the people that go missing, like you said. There's zero trace of them ever, never found, never ever to be heard from again.
Yeah. And it's not like they find anything, right? They
They
find
find
their
nothing.
car parked on the side of the road and then nothing.
It's
right?
like
I mean,
they just
Yeah.
disappeared.
no shoes off in the bushes, nothing,
Yep.
right? No clothes, nothing, just gone.
Yep. Yeah, I still say, man, if you track astrology and you look at the planetary alignment, the magnetic field, and what the poles and all that shit does,
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I can't prove it.
Well,
but-
you go back to like the vampirism thing, right? I mean, like so many of the ancient cultures drank blood because they thought they could absorb, you know, the other person's entity, basically,
essence,
right? Their
yeah.
power, right?
Essence,
It's like
yep. Yeah, I mean,
crazy
Hey.
stuff, man.
people do crazy shit.
No, never.
I mean, look at how
People are
many
normal, right? I mean,
Look,
look at
I'm almost 50, and look how many toys I have.
worst things you can
And
spend
that's on the
money on,
tame
brother.
side.
I know. I laugh at it all the time.
You got an excuse though, just like I do. You got a son, right?
I know. Yeah, I got a kid.
It's
Yeah.
all for my son. Don't worry.
Yep,
about
it's
it.
all for my kid.
All right, let's see what we got for a slide. Let's see how bad this slide looks. No, this
That's a great one.
yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah.
Is
These are
that
just
from
images
Destination Truth?
I just pulled these off the internet, so I have no idea where they're coming from. I was going to give credit to everybody, but then I started whipping them together, and I got lost track, so it was too late after that. So I don't have a production team of elves like Largo does. He's got those Guatemalan elves that help him with the production.
He goes on ayahuasca trips and talks to the builder elves. They build his
Yep.
site for him.
Yep. You know, like
I'm still
Adam
trying to
Sandler
convince my
had
dad
that
to do
macabre.
salvia or DMT sometime and just let me watch him.
Largo.
That's silly.
That's funny.
All right. I like this one. It's very like gorilla looking, so kind of Gigantopithecus more than anything. But you know, I have a good theory about that myself too. So
Let's hear it.
you know the theory of the Gigantopithecus.
Does anybody else know?
I don't know. So Gigantopithecus, they found the jawbone. Yeah, I can't talk today. I need to get a beer so I can get my tongue working. The jawbone in a cave in Russia, next to the cave that had the what are they called, Luke?
The little people.
The Denisovans. What is it called?
Denisovians.
Yes, thank you. That's the word.
Denisovans.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it was in the same cave, not the same cave, but a cave close to where they found the leftovers of that people, right? And they have, yep.
That's appetizing.
They believe that Bigfoot could possibly be a Gigantopithecus, which was like a 10-foot tall gorilla that walked across the land bridge when it was frozen from Russia to Alaska, that migrated. If you think about the way evolution is, right, and you have this gigantic ape and everything back in the Ice Age and stuff before then, you know, saber-tooth tigers and all that were much larger, plant life was larger, and everything is slowly shrunk. If you take a 10-foot tall ape, and most reports of the Gigantopithecus or Bigfoot are around a 10-foot mark, right? That's what most people say. 8 to 12 foot is average report. If you take evolution into account, the fact that this was an ape and he slowly started walking upright to be able to reach upper branches on trees and stuff to live and created more of a upright walking pattern, it's very possible that that's a true story also.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good theory. I think when like you said, when you look at the Earth and everything that's been here, you know, however
a lot longer than history tells us,
right? And again, Darwin's theory of evolution is a theory of evolution, right? I mean,
Darwin barely even believed it,
right? I mean, I'm not saying I don't believe in evolution, because that's not what I'm saying, but I'm saying like he based his theory on
birds.
He based it on if you were to try that in a court of law, I'm not sure you'd win that court.
Look at this bird's beak. You see this beak right?
Right.
And then look at this bird beak right here. Those are two different beaks.
I'm thinking that there were a ton of different species of bipedals that all were competing for dominance, and just one of them won out. And then you've also got your climate factors. You've got other predators. I just think like the smartest usually win out.
Yeah, and, for sure. I mean, like you look at the fact there's still like reports of the Rangpendek, right? The Rangpendek is only 5 foot tall or 6 foot tall, something like that, normal size, right? But still considered part of the Sasquatch, family, because he's a hairy ape type creature, but he's bipedal,
Yeah, and I just think that we take everything these people say at face value as if it's absolute fact. It is none of it's fact. It's just they found a bunch of fossils, and then they've built a story on that, and then they've all agreed through peer-reviewed study, whatever the fuck that means anymore, because it really doesn't mean much. But
you take what you just said though, and you go backwards too, right? The Smithsonian has taken all the giant bones that were discovered all across the U.S., right? There's reports through all sorts of newspapers about giant skeletons of 8 foot tall, 10 foot tall men, with huge skulls, double rows of teeth, extra fingers, found throughout the entire, U.S., especially in the Ohio Valley and all that stuff, right? And the Smithsonian took all those skeletons, and now they're saying they never existed, right?
The cave out in Nevada, the Indian cave out in Nevada. I can't remember what it's called, but
yeah.
Well, do you guys follow the Boneyard Alaska on Instagram?
No.
The guy who owns a gold mine up in Alaska, you should follow it. It's amazing. So he has stumbled upon a treasure trove of megafauna, from steppe bison, mammoth, a ton of just large animals. He has a ton of mammoth tusks, right? According to a lot of these paleontologists, that stuff wasn't supposed to be there then. He won't let anybody on his property, but you should definitely follow him on Instagram. But he has letters. The Natural History Museum in New York came out there in the 1920s when the previous owner had the gold mine, and they took a bunch of material to study. He got a hold of them and said, "Hey, I'd like to have my stuff back." And we don't know what you're talking about.
Yep.
Presented them with the letters. They went completely cold.
Yeah.
Then they come back to him with a letter that says, "Well, we've dumped them all in the East River." Okay.
Why? Why would you do that?
So they gave him the actual address to the East River. So there was he debuted it on a podcast. So there was a team of divers that went out there and they found a piece of mammoth tusk in the East River that they dumped. These are the same people that told him that they never got it in the first place.
Right. Well, that's just it, right?
So
you look at all those giant reports from the newspapers back in the 1800s, right?
Yeah.
Those people weren't making shit up. They were just reporting the facts back then, right? They had no reason to make shit up. And then all of those reports, 1800s, early 1900s say, and the Smithsonian was called in to study the bones, right? Yep. Well, now you ask somebody from the Smithsonian where those skeletons went, an 8-foot, 10-foot skeleton with a huge skull is kind of hard to just misplace. You know what I mean? The Smithsonian is not that big.
And then the Smithsonian is absolved from having to give anything back to the Native Americans when they passed that law where they had to return everything to the Native Americans, except for the Smithsonian.
Yep.
So, look, if it smells like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. And those guys are probably lying, and they're probably hiding something.
Oh, for sure.
How are you ever going to prove it, though, right?
Yep. Doesn't fit the narrative, man.
And shit, if anything this last 3 years have showed you is your government's fucking full of shit.
Right on. All right. There's a picture of the abominable snowman.
That's a great one.
Yeah. I was looking at this. I can't tell if it's it looks like it's 3D. Or
I
maybe
think
it was
that's an actual mannequin.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It looks like it's 3D.
There's some clear the basis for one of my Yetis I made.
Yeah, I think did I include that picture? No, I didn't include the picture. I saw a picture today that looked just like your one Yeti. I was like, oh, that looks just like Jeff's. I probably have it on my computer. I was going to load it into here, but I forgot to. So. What's Jim saying? Squatch is an international tourist with an out-of-date copy of the Hitchhiker's Guide.
Probably true, Jim.
And then Peter says the Nephilim. Yes,
that's great. I'm fully invested in that, Peter.
Oh yeah.
I got a photo story coming next year of that. I got to make some props.
So here's a couple more. I think this one is from a comic book or a story. I can't remember which one it was from.
Oh, yeah, maybe. There's some really good comic books out there.
Yeah, for sure. This one's pretty cool, too. And that's the end of the presentation. So I'm going to step out and grab a drink real quick.
You didn't include the Wendigo?
I put him on the list, but I didn't put him any pictures in there.
Is the Wendigo... What would we consider the Wendigo a cryptid?
I would.
Yeah.
I think so.
That's always been an interesting one, too.
The Wendigo, that was one, I wasn't sure about the Wendigo and the Skinwalker because we're going to do one either next week or the week after of paranormal stuff. And I wasn't really sure if that should be included in that because, the Wendigo and the Skinwalker kind of are also talked about like they're kind of ghost type.
Yeah,
they are more magical.
Yeah, Wendigos get that Native American supernatural.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so does the Jersey Devil. I mean, that's kind of like just a cursed person.
Yeah.
Jersey Devil's just it's a nice name for a talkie team.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It was probably a good way to explain what happened to my 13th child back in the 1800s that I killed and made stew out of to feed the rest of my 12 kids.
So Luke, what's your favorite cryptid? Well, your dad grabs a beer. What's your favorite?
I don't know. I don't actually know.
You
I
don't
like
have
them
a
all.
favorite?
I don't have a favorite. I like them all. They're all too good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like Bigfoot, but that's just because like everybody likes Bigfoot.
Let me ask you this: what's the most plausible to you? Like, what's the
Bigfoot,
most likely
probably.
to exist?
Probably Bigfoot.
Bigfoot.
It's just a monkey, It's just a
Yeah.
big monkey. I mean, if you're trying to find a plausible cryptid, a big monkey is a pretty good way to go because we kind of have big monkeys already. You got gorillas. I like the ones that like don't make any sense though. Like there's this giant weird cat dog thing in Africa that just like eats people, but it turns into a dog and then it can turn into a human, and then back into a dog cat thing. It's pretty wacky.
I would like to know how many of these sightings or how many of these stories tied to, native lore are also associated with the use of psychedelics.
Oh, probably all of them.
Because I'm there with cryptids. I go back and forth quite a bit. I mean, some days I'm like, I don't know. Kind of like UFOs. Like I was super invested in UFOs, and then I thought, nah. And now that the government and the mainstream media is obsessed and they're all buying into UFOs, now I think it's all bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it starts becoming like mainstream, I'm just like, And Bigfoot's never really garnered that though. There's been stories on TV, but not like the UFO craze right now.
Yeah, I think they're doing all this UFO stuff though to like throw us off the scent of UFOs. Because if we get a little taste of it, we're just gonna be like, all right, then we'll believe it's real, right? But
that's a good 4D chess move.
Yes.
We could do a whole episode on UFOs because I got a lot of different theories.
Well, we're gonna do an episode on UFOs too. I gotta show you my shirt first, Luke. I forgot to show my shirt.
I decided my favorite cryptid though. I don't know if it's technically a cryptid.
Believe in yourself. There you go.
Believe in yourself, even when no one else does.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at things.
What are those tree people?
Ents?
No, the tree people.
Oh, the little ones?
Yeah, the little ones
that were on Josh Gates.
Yep.
What the hell are those called?
Are those the tiny hobbit people that are on that small island?
No,
that's a Hawaiian thing. Those are the
those are that's on Easter Island.
Easter Island.
Or smaller. Yeah. There's like an island in Malaysia where they think the little hobbit people still live.
The pygmies or whatever they're
called.
No,
they're even smaller than that. They're only like 2 foot tall.
Oh.
Well, there's a race of them on the islands in Hawaii too.
Yeah.
That they believe are.
Yeah. I mean,
it's all on those islands.
There's this race of creatures that Josh Gates went looking for.
They grow from trees. They grow off of the trees as plants, and then they drop down and they're living plant people.
Yeah.
They're creepy. But
there's another guy who, Forrest Galante. You know him?
Yep.
Yeah, Forrest Galante does a really good job of going looking for. He still thinks the giant sloth exists in Peru.
I wouldn't doubt.
Well, they didn't believe in the giant squid till the Japanese fishermen caught it.
No. My biggest problem with Bigfoot stuff nowadays, well, with as great of cell phone cameras as we have. I mean, you can take not to offend everybody out there, somebody takes a picture of their butthole in 4K fucking resolution, and you're like, oh my gosh, but you can't give me a clear picture of anything. And every time I see somebody doing a video, it's like them running.
Yeah.
Oh, it's behind me. I'm like, look, take one for the team.
Yeah, just
walk up to it. They're going to find your phone. They're going to unlock it. Apple hopefully is going to let them, and we're going to see a Bigfoot killing you.
Yeah. That's what Luke and I talk about, right? If we are out in the woods sometime and we actually see a Bigfoot, one of us is getting good video.
Yeah.
The other one's going to be the fucking bait, and that's it.
Look how many people get amazing videos of UFOs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just like, I don't know if you guys saw the one with the girl in the plane in Colombia. She's just sitting there flying the plane, and this freaking thing just shoots right by.
There's a guy up in
holy shit,
Alaska or something that had the same type of thing. He was flying a little, 2-seater plane, and he's like videoing it, and the thing's flying back and forth. Then 2 things fly past him.
Yeah,
and it's like
that's what I want to see with Bigfoot, and that's probably what angers me most about anything is all this AI shit. Now you're just gonna have assholes.
Right? It's like you see so many now. It's like, why is your camera so shitty, right? You just took a picture of your girlfriend's tits and they were, absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
And now you're showing a video of Bigfoot and it's so blurry you can't even tell.
Yeah, it's just like It makes no sense to me.
Well, it's like I purposely did that when I did the pictures of my 6 scale custom Bigfoot. I purposely blurred all those pictures because that's what they always look like.
We have like the amount of people that hunt and have trail cams. I got a buddy personally, one of my good friends at work. He has like something like 60 trail cams set up to just find the perfect deer, and he gets bobcats and everything else on there. I would think that somebody would be able to set a trail cam up in a high traffic area and get something on camera, unless it is like Adam thinks and other people that it's interdimensional and it's,
Some people think it's smart enough to know that there's a camera there, which,
yeah,
smart
maybe.
enough to know that there's a camera there.
I'm not smart enough to know that there's a camera there. Man. What? If I'm walking in the middle of the night, I can't see like a trail camera.
And then, another thing, the amount of drone footage we have.
Yeah.
Everybody's flying drones. I mean, hell, they just discovered a brand new Mayan settlement in the jungle with LiDAR and drones. I've seen some compelling drone stuff with Bigfoot. I've seen people shaking the trees. Yes, true. He is Bigfoot's blurry.
Thanks for stopping by, Oz.
Maybe Bigfoot's just blurry in real life, right?
It's the fur, right? He's interdimensional, and the fur is like it has like a built-in thing like the CIA uses when they go into these top secret places. It blocks all the cell phone coverage and blurs the video cameras. And
you know what pissed me off more than anything was like I was probably a couple of years ago. There was a Bigfoot researcher, well respected, and I think he went up in Saskatchewan and faked finding a Bigfoot skeleton.
Oh yeah,
remember that guy?
Yep, I remember that guy.
What a dickhead!
Yep.
Like, why would you do that to your career? First off.
Yep.
And the only explanation I would think is like if you watch a lot of the UFO stuff, it's fact that the government has planted people in those groups to sow misinformation.
Oh, for sure.
I could see the same thing happening when you talk about the Smithsonian having all these giant skeletons they claim they don't have. I'm saying they allegedly have them.
Yep.
It's not beyond the realm of possibility that the government or somebody would have people who go out and do discrediting.
Oh yeah, why not, dude? Why? Hey, dude, we'll pay you X number of dollars for the rest of your life so you can live comfortably if you are willing to sacrifice your career and your integrity and do this for us, right?
Yeah.
And they're probably, the government has tons of money that they don't, they just
Sure.
So the guy's probably living fine down in Costa Rica, sitting on the beach all day long, not giving a shit that his reputation went to shit.
He's sitting in Guatemala. He's created a new YouTube channel.
Yeah. Has this hat that he wears. It's kind of like a hat.
He's got a buddy in Florida who is a teammate of his.
Right. It's kind of weird that guy gets all of his mail to Florida, then it gets shipped to Guatemala, And what's with that rooster, right? That rooster's probably really like a landline from the government that, it starts ringing and it's just a rooster. So it throws everybody off, It's like you're getting too deep into the woods. You got to get off that kind of topic.
Yeah, I think that's always going to be until it isn't the question with me and cryptids because I love them. I want to believe they're all real. I'm fully invested in it. Like, why has
I can tell you that I've had experiences with Sasquatch that I know it's a real thing.
Yeah, you have,
I've seen aliens. I know those are real. I haven't seen an actual alien, but I've seen UFOs. Let's put it that way. I know those are real too. But
the number one question for me is always going to be this: Why is there such a cover up? Like, why do people go out of their ways to discredit people, and why do people just write it off as myth? And I think
some people, for some people, it's fear of the unknown, right? Because they can't handle the fact that there might actually be something out there. It's like you see so many of them when you see a really good ghost video, everybody's like, oh, well, he's got somebody behind the door, or he's got somebody, in the room with him.
Right.
Okay, well, he showed the entire room and he didn't leave, right? Now, of course, you got video editing, which makes it difficult, but it's like some of them look very, very good. And you got to, I've had experience with ghosts too. It's like,
I think that we've had a history that's linear, that we've been taught since day one.
It's programming,
you need to stay right. Yep, stay right on that road. It's like Santa Claus. Imagine if you still believe Santa Claus was real.
I do.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Fine. We'll use a
100%.
different theory. Imagine something else.
The Easter Bunny.
Easter Bunny. Imagine if you believed.
Luke, you don't believe in the Easter Bunny anymore, do you?
With the Easter Bunny's not real.
So I'm just saying, like, and that's what everybody said the whole time. This is the way it is. If you get outside of that lane, you're a conspiracy theorist. We'll kick you out of trouble. Actually, remember that M. Night Shyamalan movie?
Oh,
where
yeah.
They had all those people on that little enclave.
Yep.
That to me is human history, current history, our current timeline.
Yeah.
Don't go outside of the rails, because if you do,
well, it's really easy now too, because you got guys that are all like in Luke's generation, right, who are addicted to TikTok. Like Luke's older sister, my daughter, who's 20, she's on TikTok constantly, right? And if it's fed to TikTok, man, she's all over, right? And it's like they just buy into it. They believe it all, right? You could sell these people anything. They just buy into it.
15-second attention spans.
Yep.
It's really wild. I hope in my lifetime that we get answers. I think we will, but I don't know if it's going to be the answers it's going to give us closure.
I don't think it's going to give us closure, because the government's going to let it go little by little until they have their own agenda fixed, right? And that's the problem.
I think it's going to be like the internet. They've lost control of that, and they're trying to rein it back in, and they can't. And I kind of feel like with the UFO thing, once the floodgates open, it might become pandemonium, you know?
Well, the government, I mean, you got to give them credit for a while, because like you go back to when we were kids, right? In the 70s, people were not ready for an alien for real, right? If somebody come out and said, I mean, that aliens are really here and they visited us and everything else, the world would have gone to shit, right? People would not have been ready for it. So many people are desensitized now to that kind of stuff. It's not even funny. Now they go around trying to prove it's not real. Most people are trying to prove videos aren't real nowadays, just to prove that they're not real. Not because they give a shit about the alien or the Bigfoot or whatever. It's just to prove that video is not real.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to take, to me, with Bigfoot, to get people really on board, it's going to take somebody literally finding a carcass.
They're going to find a carcass or actually
skeleton.
capture one and keep it alive, right? And show more than one video of it, right? That's the other problem.
Yeah.
You see all these people, they find stuff and they show a 3-second video of it. Look what I saw. Then why did you stop filming?
Yeah, you're going to have to get clear footage that is not able to be debunked as fake.
Yep.
And that's what it's going to take. With anything, any kind of.
But it's like we talked about on Jim's stream, right? I mean, they just found within the last decade the biggest cave in the world in Vietnam. It's got its own ecosystem.
Ecosystem down there. Who knows what's in there? Hey, man, you don't have to walk me very far to get on that Hollow Earth fucking train, baby. I will go. You can give me a beer and I'll be like, okay, let's go do some Hollow Earth. I'll be all over that. I do a whole episode on Hollow Earth. I think it's fascinating.
Well, we'll be doing that sometime soon too. We're going to do
video.
Aliens next, Luke, or paranormal next?
Paranormal.
All right. Luke's in charge of the paranormal
and aliens
presentation.
And
sounds good. Well, I think I'm gonna skedoodle out of here. It's getting close to.
It's almost 10 o'clock.
Yep. Guys, I've had a great time.
Yeah, definitely. Hang on for a minute, Jeff. I want to talk to you afterwards real quick.
Okay, great.
Thanks, everybody, for showing up. Next week, we'll be doing Tuesday night again at 8:30, discussing paranormal stuff. Luke, you got anything you want to plug? All right, Jeff, you got anything you want to plug?
Skunkworks G.I. Joe Customs. Stop over, check my channel out. Instagram at Skunkworks G.I. Joe Customs. And just
YouTube. Instagram's the same, right?
YouTube, Instagram the same. Check it out. I think you'll enjoy the channel. I enjoy doing content. So
yeah, definitely check out Jeff. He's got some good stuff on his YouTube channel, especially for customizing and stuff that can all be, even if you're a 1/12 collector, it can be translated into 1/12 for his 1/6 scale stuff that he does. You can find me on Instagram at Action Figs, and of course you're on my channel on YouTube, so I'm easy to find here. Other than that, thanks everybody for attending, and peace out.
Keep searching.